While attending a marriage encounter weekend, Frank and his wife Ann listened to the instructor declare, "It is essential that husbands and wives know the things that are important to each other." He then addressed the men. "Can you name and describe your wife's favorite flower?" Frank leaned over, touched Ann's arm gently, and whispered, "Gold medal, all purpose, isn't it?" While appreciating all vocations, the observance of National Marriage Week this week and the World Marriage Day, which we celebrate tomorrow, is an opportunity for the church to focus on building a culture of life and love that begins with supporting and promoting marriage and the family. The theme that links our readings today is the awareness of call, of vocation. The call to holiness is for everyone, married, single, ordained clergy, or consecrated religious. Jesus sends us, individuals and families, to share in his mission. Like the call to priesthood or consecrated life, marriage is a calling. It is a form of love and service, witness and sacrifice. Those called to marriage can preach the gospel with their lives of dedication and fidelity. The promises made to one another in marriage are taken before God, who calls each of us to ongoing faithfulness and generosity. Parents who understand and practice their faith, who bring their family to Mass, who ensure that their children are properly instructed in our faith. It is they who provide the necessary foundation for their children to hear and respond to God's call in their lives, in whatever vocation their offspring choose to pursue. Pope Francis explains, responding to God's call means allowing him to help us leave ourselves and our false security behind and to strike out on the path which leads to Jesus Christ, the origin and destiny of our life and our happiness. In other words, an experience of God will transform us, not into something we don't want to be, but rather in what he has wanted us to be all along. In today's readings, both Isaiah and Peter recognize their own sinfulness and inadequacy. Both experience God's love, and both are transformed. Isaiah was clearly awestruck by the vision of the glory of the Lord. His reaction was to realize and admit his own insignificance and sinfulness. "Woe is me, I am doomed, for I am a man of unclean lips, living among a people of unclean lips." Isaiah's recognition of his own unworthiness opened the way to his transformation. Once the angel purified his lips with the ember, Isaiah responded to divine voice enthusiastically, "Here I am, send me." The realization that we are unworthy, incapable, and even unwilling can open us up to the grace we need to accomplish what we are unable to do on our own. This is the irony of vocation. For us, the ember that cleansed Isaiah is the sacrament of reconciliation. God forgives us and makes us worthy of channeling his love to others. Now, we can imagine that if Peter had had a successful night fishing, he wouldn't have wanted to go out fishing again, but at the Lord's command, he pessimistically lowers his nets once more. Overwhelmed by the miraculous catch of fish, Peter knows he is in the presence of God. Peter begs, "Depart from me, Lord, for I am a sinful man." Remember, as Peter spoke, they're out in the middle of Lake Gennesaret. "Do not be afraid. For now on, you will be catching men." Peter Jesus reassures Peter. So when the fishermen brought their boats to the shore, they left everything and followed him. They were transformed. The account of Jesus calling the fishermen, Peter, James, and John, to follow him is not only about them. It is the story of all Christian disciples. We are meant to respond wholeheartedly to Jesus' invitation to follow him. Often Jesus speaks to us at times when we feel we are stagnating, when we are fishing all night and catch nothing. Are we willing to let Jesus commandeer our boats and put out into deep water? As Isaiah and Peter were called into the presence of God, infused with power and grace, and then sent on a mission, so we too are called, transformed, and sent forth every time we gather together to celebrate the Eucharist. In the Eucharist, God calls us to receive himself as the living food for our vocation as Christians. At Mass, we echo the Roman centurion, "Lord, I am not worthy that you should enter under my roof, but only say the word and my soul shall be healed." Let us ask the Lord today in the Eucharist we are about to receive that we may bring him to others by the way we live. This is the vocation of every Christian.